Hey everyone, welcome to another nothing video where I do things because I cannot sleep. I don't watch the Fooper Soul anymore because I don't watch football anymore. Can you tell I'm tired? Yes. But I heard that there was an Avengers Endgame trailer and I needed to see it, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna watch that right now and then I'm gonna analyze it. Anybody who's coming to this video expecting intelligent discourse, click off, because that's not what you're gonna get. What you're gonna get is me sitting here talking nonsense. So let's watch this together. All right.
Some people move on, but not us. Not us.
Okay, wow, all right, okay, that's it? All right. Like all of their trailers and teasers and thing, which I really love about Marvel, you don't know what to trust because sometimes they edit things. I mean, all trailers do that to an extent. You don't really know what the implications are of what you're looking at. All right, so let's get this started. Enhance! So we've got her. That's the Wasp, right? And we've got, all right, Nick Fury, who looks very warped in that, very disturbed. All right, we've got Spidey. Hey, Tom Holland. We got Doctor Strange, who, you know, it's funny, wasn't into Benjamin Cumberbund until he was Doctor Strange. What I mean is, I love him as an actor, but I wasn't like, until he was Doctor Strange. I don't know what it is. It's something about, like, the outfit, and then, like, the little streak of white in the hair. Oh, and of course, magic. I'm a sucker for sorcerers, what can I tell you? All right, let's go. And we got, we got Falcon. Fun story. I met Anthony Mackie, and he's very nice in person. Scarlet Witch. Okay, who's that back there? Vision. Okay, so this is basically just all flashbacks to the other movies. Okay, we got the Guardians of the Galaxy. And then we got T'Challa doing his thing. And then we got Bucky. We got Vision. Again, another one, Paul Bettany. Love him as an actor, but like, I don't know, him as Vision, I was like, he's hot. That's one hot android. And then Marvel Studios. Okay, so here's the thing though, if you're gonna assume this is like a 10 and not like an IO, like, which I don't know what that would refer to, the input and output of the MCU. What I'm wondering, because color motifs are important. Does he not have the stone in his head? Oh yeah, because that's the flashback from when, okay. So if I'm going with the red, like, yeah, red stands out with black and white, but is it on purpose? Like, why did they choose what they chose to be red? Thinking that these things are red to begin with, but even if they are, and they've just kind of accentuated it, why, right? Why the red things and not any other color? So I'm thinking already, what else has colors? Obviously the Infinity Stones, right? Red is... That's the explosions happening in my brain to uncover the truth of my memory. And red is Reality Stone, right? Okay, so let's pretend, and I'm saying pretend because I don't know what's going on with this. This is just what I'm thinking about this after having seen it now. Maybe the things that are highlighted here, it's hinting at a reality that's going to be changed. That maybe, for example, here, these characters, they could have pulled a, shot from any scene. So maybe they chose these specific scenes to be like, okay, the thing that is happening in this particular time of this event, something about this thing is going to change. In this case, it's just Spidey, like almost in full, basically, that's like all of his red is highlighted. So you can see, like, it's obviously not everything that's red, because then this is not, the shield is not highlighted. So maybe it's saying that in this part of this timeline that this shot is from, this is going to change. This reality of Spidey in this time is going to change. Like, maybe because he's highlighted but the shield isn't, it's saying that what's going to change about this reality is where he stands in this fight in Civil War. That he's not going to be against Cap anymore, that he's going to be aligned with him. Or maybe it's saying that he's not even going to be there. He's not going to be a part of that fight. So everything else in that is black and white is actually going to still happen, but Peter's not going to be a part of it anymore. That here, like maybe the suit is highlighted instead of her because she's still going to be there in the same capacity, but maybe she's not going to be the Wasp. Maybe she's not going to take up that mantle at the time, and she's just going to be serving as whoever she is. I don't even remember her name. Janet? Or is that the original Wasp's name? That maybe that's why the suit is highlighted, because that's the reality that's going to change. That maybe she's not going to play the same role that she played up to this point. Something maybe about Fury, I mean, because it's just the light, it's going to be this like overarching change that is going to be maybe overseen or like highlighted by Nick Fury, where like he's kind of almost in the spotlight, with him maybe being the one that sets it in motion. Like, again, him with something is going to change where his life does not get saved by this cloak, where the reality that kind of Strange got to because of this cloak, that's no longer going to be the case. Who knows? I'm just talking out of my ass right now. I'm just thinking. And it could also, keep in mind, just mean absolutely nothing. It could just be like, hey, these are 10 things that are going to change, and we just decided to highlight red because it looks cool. It could very well have just been that, right? But I like to just go deeper in my head and pretend that it means more than that, even if it doesn't. So maybe something about the way that he sees things that's going to change his place in the reality of like the Avengers, like, and their team. Scarlet, maybe something about like how she uses her powers is going to change, and maybe they chose this scene specifically because Vision is in the back, because this is when like Vision got, wrecked, and she's like, "Don't hurt my man, my sexy android man." So maybe, there's going to be something that's going to change with the reality, not only of her powers and how she's going to use them, but how they're going to affect her ability to protect Vision, especially considering that feeling like, there wasn't enough time and Vision kind of had to come and help so that Thanos couldn't get the Mind Stone, and that didn't go as planned. So maybe it's saying something's going to change with that reality. With this, the Guardians, are they in the elevator in the prison or wherever they are here? Maybe it's saying that this is going to change the reality of either maybe they don't end up in that prison and don't end up meeting in that same way, or maybe they do and things go differently there. With T'Challa, like maybe this is representing like the support of his people, or with the fate of Wakanda, and that these, like the girls, I don't remember what they call the girls, but that maybe by highlighting them, it's highlighting that there's going to be a change in kind of his relationship with his nation. This, again, we've got that, and we've also got the star like on his little shoulder. So maybe this is saying that his relationship here with the shield and with the mantle of like Captain America is going to change. And I think I remember like in the comics, doesn't Bucky become Captain America for a while? Or did I make that up? I feel like that maybe I made that up. I don't remember. But so maybe this is saying like at this point where he faces off with Cap, because this was in Winter Soldier, right? This screenshot, either his relationship with Cap or with which one of them is Cap is going to change in that moment. That the shield kind of represents not only that mantle, but kind of where your loyalties lie. And so maybe that's going to change the reality of his loyalties in that moment. Who knows? These are just things I'm throwing out. And Vision, well, his whole damn face. All right? His whole damn face is colored. Maybe who Vision became as a character, is the reality of that is going to change, and maybe he's not going to be on the side of good anymore. Well, first of all, does he even have the stone in his head, or can I just not see it? Let's try. Enhance! A little bit. All right. Enhance more! Enhance more! I can't enhance more. Oh no, I think, it's still in there. So maybe it's saying with that, in that moment, because this right here, this looks like the Age of Ultron, because Vision facing off against Ultron was like the ultimate clash of the consequences of your choices. In this case of like Tony Stark's and the choice of like being this futurist that has this desire to protect the world, and what using that ambition can actually create, and having basically the two branches of that facing off together, maybe the reality of his position of where he stands in that moment is going to change. Or maybe he's going to be the villain in that moment. Who knows? Whatever. The point is, maybe that stuff that's in red is just kind of trying to hint, assuming again, if the red represents the reality stone, that something about those things is going to change. And even if it doesn't, there's a reason that they're highlighting these 10 particular scenes with these characters. Like, something is going to happen. But anyway, let's go to this now. Let's skip on forward here. This is my beautiful, beautiful city. I love you, Lady Liberty. How you doing? Looks like you got a lot of people around you. This is actually a really cool shot. Because here's the thing I'm fascinated by. And this is something I've always been fascinated by before this decimation happened. So to give you an idea of where my head is at and what kind of stuff I think about. But I have, for a very long time, thought about what the consequences would be in life if you just snapped your finger and disappeared a lot of folk. The impact of kind of eliminating just a huge chunk of society is going to be massive in general, because it would pervade every aspect and area of society and basically bring functioning to a halt. Even if you only target quote unquote bad people, it's still going to have this detrimental effect, because bad people are everywhere. Like, I'm on the subway here, and there may be 50 people, sitting around me. Any one of them, I could be looking at a pedophile. The person next to them could be a rapist. The person next to them could be a murderer. The person next to them could have somebody tied up in their basement. And they're just sitting there going about their day. And you don't know any better. But boom, now they're all gone because you made this decision. And now whereas that might be patterned a little bit, because you could argue that only certain types of people would do certain types of things. For this kind of a snap, where it's supposedly random, which I don't believe, where it's just half of everyone, it wouldn't be patterned. And so I feel like it would be that much more devastating, because there wouldn't be a way to say this is why these people are gone. And so you would end up having to fill in the blanks of that yourself. And so it would be very much like a leftovers, like, the Rapture kind of situation, right? And in the case of something like the Rapture, the assumption is, well, it's because we're not good enough for God or whatever. That would be what the assumption for that would be. But what will the assumption be for the decimation, right? That would be really interesting to see. Like, all that fascinates me. What will people believe when you get down on the ground, like, about this, about why they were left behind? Will they see it in the same way? Because I'm guessing that eventually it's going to come out that it was like this Thanos dude that did it. And that, there may still be people that are like, oh, it was an act of God, I'm sure. But there's still going to be some speculation as to why are we left. And when you think about that, even looking at the Avengers, like, the original kind of Avengers team was spared. And when you think about the fact that the Infinity Stones were considered to be kind of sentient in a way, where you're not, like, it's not just doing your bidding, that the stones also kind of have a mind of their own. That's why I say I don't believe that it would be random, that I believe that the stones would have picked which half based on some kind of criteria, and that maybe, the criteria would be to see it undone, and that would be why maybe they spared the Avengers that it spared. But I just would be curious to see how that affects the people on the ground. And obviously with this scene, I'm just like rambling, but I'm so into this. I'm so into like movies in general. But I also love superhero movies. Looking at this, obviously there are tons of boats. And if you're not from the States, this is not what like our shit looks like. So I would have to be thinking like they're just immigrants, that people are coming here, because it wouldn't make sense for it to be Americans unless something's happening on land, because like we don't have to get on a boat to go to another part of America. So I'm wondering if all these people who are coming here, they're coming here. My point is that I don't feel like these would be people coming here because they're like, oh, things are so good here. Like, no, I think things would be equally bad and equally horrible here in New York and here in the States. I think it's instead like, hey, this is the home of like the Avengers, basically. And I feel like now they're just congregating here because they're like, this is the center of hope in that sense. Not that we're going to be able to come here and have a better life, but that we all just need to be together right now and see what they're going to do to take care of this, you know, to be hopeful that we can be here together to support them in whatever we hope they're going to do to make this right, if they can make this right. So my point is, maybe this is less about the people that we're seeing and more about the Avengers and these people congregating here to be an audience for them, to be support for them, rather than seeking their own refuge, even though they are also probably seeking refuge. That's my point. So anyway, yeah, so let's skip on from that.
Some people.
So I feel like this is just like a generic shot saying like, hey, no one's here. Look at all these cars. Everybody's gone. Enhance! What does that say? Home of the Manhattan's closest casino, Empire City. Okay, that doesn't say anything of note. All right, I'm watching you. I'm trying to see everything. Or again, maybe you could just give it some symbolic meaning. Maybe you could just be like, you know, this is saying we're in the end game now, so we're not even playing anymore. Get it? There's no more game. Maybe that's what that means. Now, this is the part that when I just watched this now, like this flashed by and it really got me interested. Like, what is going on? Like, let's enhance. All right, and less enhance, more enhance. Okay, so first of all, this is weird to me. Like, as a writer, I'm always going to kind of hone in on the way something is worded or phrased. So here, this is weird to me. Where do we go now that they're gone? Now, yes, you can take that as a literal thing, because obviously this looks like Cap is in some kind of
Move on.
Look at him. Look how mad he is. Look at him. He's like, I could bite my teeth out of my teeth. I'm so mad right now. I'm so upset that I'm going to say things that don't make any sense. It's okay, Cap. It's okay. Look at that. All right. Sorry, Cap. All right. Back to what I was saying. But like, so this looks like it's some kind of support group. So you can, whoopsie, went a little too far back. So you could think of this as being literal. Like, hey, where do we go now that like our loved ones are gone? Well, we go here to this support group place. Cause like, here's the thing, right? You don't see anything about the support group, right? There's no name. So it's not like, hey, where do we go? We go to the blank to be with people. Like, no, it's just, where do we go now that they're gone? And it's open-ended. And it's also not saying where do you go for what purpose? It's not saying like, where do we go for help? You know, so the phrasing is weird. Where do we go now that they're gone? What if they're not talking about there as in loved ones? What if they're talking about there as in the Avengers? Where do we go now that these heroes are gone? Yeah, it could mean like, where do we go from here? As in like, how are we going to move forward without them? Or it could mean like, where do we go? Literally, where do we go? As in maybe for some reason they cannot stay, that something is going to happen in Endgame where maybe the people of Earth cannot stay on Earth. Maybe something else is going to happen. Maybe it's going to have to do with the new villain or with Thanos again. This could even also just be not even the people of the world, the people of Earth saying this, but this could be the actual, like the Avengers that are left. This could be them saying like, you know, where do we go now that they're gone? Like, where are we supposed to physically go to find solutions to this problem? Where do we go in space? Where do we go in time now that they're gone? Now that this decimation has happened? Two, like this poster itself is weird also because like I didn't say enhance. I should have said it because then it would have happened better. But even if you look at this, right, it's weird because look at the number of shadows. Like, where are we going now that they're gone? Again, you could just say that this was just a very creative way of representing your loved ones that are gone now. But what if these are supposed to represent, like, the Avengers that died? You know, what if it's supposed to secretly, like, be representative of them? And what is this? I still don't know what this is supposed to be. Because it looks like it's just very inconspicuous to me that it's directly in the head of that shadow. It just seems weird, but I could be overthinking it. It's just that when you are making films and when you're doing things in production, assuming that you're good filmmakers and you have a good team, they know that everything that they show is a part of the story they tell. And so I hesitate for a movie like this, and especially for a trailer, to look at this and be like, this doesn't actually mean anything. It's just a throwaway. Everything in this is a throwaway. Especially considering that this shot, that this scene opens with a clear shot of this and then transitions over to Cap. Stop doing things. So it could be that is actually talking about the Avengers. And that would kind of be in keeping with the voiceover of Cap. Okay, some people are going to move on from this, but not us. Like, we don't know where to go from here. And, but we're not going to stop trying to figure it out. All right, enhance. All right, so it's weird because he looks almost like he's pissed, kind of like whoever he's talking to here maybe is saying some bullshit that he's not down with. Maybe it's in keeping with, and this is why I'm going to say this. Well, I'll say why I'm going to say what I was about to say, but let's go forward. All right, let's check this out. So we've got Tony and Nebula doing stuff. Enhance. Okay. All right, this here, I wasn't sure if it's what it looked like to me until I really said it, but why does this look almost like... Oh, no. Looks almost like some kind of gnarly talon. You know what I mean? Imagine if something had long fingers with a gnarly nails, and then she's fucking clipping their nails. That's what that looked like to me, and I was like, what is that? He's standing there, he's got something going on. What is in this? Can I see that? Enhance! Can I see this? I can't tell what that is. Also, I love you, Robert. I know this is annoying, but I told you I'm gonna go frame by frame. Oh, this gave me more energy. I needed less energy so I could go to sleep. Is that her knee? Is that what I'm looking at? Is her leg copped up and then her knee is here? And so she's just is she working on her hand? Is that what this is? Because the whole point I was trying to make is this looks like appendages. It looks like digits. So is that what it is? That her leg is propped up and she's working on gnarly fucked up robotic replacements for her hand? So maybe that's also what Tony's doing. Maybe Tony is helping her repair her. Or maybe they are working on something else. All right, we got this. They're outside the Avengers building. That's weird composition for this too. Why does this look like this? Enhance! Yes, I'm gonna say that every single time. This is a very weird composition. Is something going on here? Because that's not how you would frame a shot, or how the blocking would be unless something is gonna happen here or there's something missing here. That looks weird. Because unless he comes up and closes that gap, something looks strange. But they're obviously looking up. So because they're looking up, either something is there that is very large or something is coming down. So I'm going to guess that something's arriving. Because if they're right outside the Avengers Tower, maybe they were inside and then they saw something arriving, so then they just walked outside. And that would explain why they're just hey, we're just dressed and kind of walking outside. Maybe they don't think it's a threat. So maybe that's Tony coming back. Because I feel if they thought it was a threat, they wouldn't just be strolling out there hey, what's going on? What's up? But anyway, yeah, so Cheadle, love you, Don Cheadle. That's why I did that. I had to enhance to tell him I like him. He's a good actor. All right, so yeah, I feel like somebody good is coming. So maybe it's these folks. Maybe they're showing up. Maybe it's Tony and Nebula arriving, because they just look too nonchalant. Look at them walking bam, 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 bam. They just look fine with it. Rocket, who again I need to own one of. So scientists, get on that shit now. All right, you need to make me a rocket raccoon, and you need to make me a crystal wolf from The Last Jedi. I need both of those things in my possession, stat. But where is he? It's actually funny because that looks like a shot from The Last Jedi, from the place that Luke Skywalker was just hanging out. Where would this be? Somebody's I'm gonna guess it's somebody that's hiding out, because this looks like a very remote place. You know, it's got this like old school wooden door. Whoever it is clearly trapping their own food. So, you know, you would really only be doing that if you want to be off the radar. So the only people I can think of who would be off the radar now. Also, look at the proportions of his little arms. I never noticed that before. Oh, little Rocket Rob, you're so cute. Okay, would be like Captain Marvel, right? Because where is she? Like, has she just been chilling out somewhere? I don't know. So maybe this is where she's been hiding out. Or who else could be hiding out now? Because I can't remember the timeline well in terms of like when everything is happening concurrently throughout the MCU. Who else is hiding out? Well, we know Hawkeye's like hiding out somewhere, but we saw him in the other trailer being all Ronin'd out. So I don't feel like this is him coming and finding him. So I feel like maybe that's going to be my guess, is that he's going here and he's finding Captain Marvel. There's a Black Widow just doing what she does. She's like, I'm gonna fuck him up. Pew, pew, pew. So good for you. We got Scott Lanford? Roy Lanford? I can't remember. But I like you, Paul. I always like Paul Rudd. And again, so we got War Machine going on. We got Ant-Man. Look at him. Pwimp, pwimp, pwimp. Ah, like that going frame by frame. Look at that. Hello, I am Ant-Man. I get small, I get big, I get all things in between. I'm going to help. I was trapped in the quantum field. I was trapped in there. Things came in there. Everybody was like, is this all the people that died? Because when it happened, I got swarmed by lots of lights. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I don't know. Why do I sound like this? Am I from Wakanda? I don't know what to... I'm tired. Leave me alone. All right. And then we've got Thor. Oh, his eye is not messed up. This is pre the eye fucking, or is that the eye that Rocket gave him? So like, because I can't tell. It does look like it's different colors. So maybe this is post the eye fucking. Somebody didn't fuck him in the eye, to be clear. I just meant after his eye got messed up. I like you, Chris Hemsworth. You're nice. Never met him. This, to me, as soon as I saw this just now, like, it looked to me like the same place that Thanos was sitting in. But I can't tell. Because obviously Thanos had his stupid, field. You know, his stupid Wizard of Oz, like, ooh, I'm in the field of big, stupid flowers. Then sat down and looked out on it and thought it was good. And this just looked the same to me, like kind of the way that Thanos walked out and you just saw like the shot of the stuff and then he sat down. That's what this reminded me of. But I don't know where he is. What is that in his hand? Because that's, oh, okay, no, that is the new one. It just looks weird to me. What is this thing called again? Stormbreaker? So he's got Stormbreaker with him. And he's coming out wherever this place is. He's got it swinging, it's hanging low. He's ready to do something. He's ready to wreck something. But let's move on. We've got Renner. He's a good actor. I also like his little round head. I like Hawkeye in general, though. I'm a sucker for archery. So any character that has a bow and arrow, I don't make fun of them. All right? Don't let anybody enhance. Listen, don't let anybody make fun of you. Because what you do is good. All right? What you do is right. All right, so let's be done with that. But here, this doesn't look like Earth. Either he's like down in a cave somewhere in Earth, but that would be weird. Like, why would there be some kind of red light? So either this is like some underground base somewhere, or this is somewhere out in space. And this is going to be kind of where things happen. Like, he looks like he's sneaking. So wherever he's going, whoever is here is not expecting him. And he doesn't look like in this shot he's just sneaking around a corner. He looks like he has eyes on the prize. So whatever the prize is, there's something there that's also glowing red on him. What if it's the reality stone? And like he's going and somehow he's going to get that. I don't know. But I just feel like he's got eyes on the prize here and he's about to get it. Maybe he's going to turn up more towards the end. Like, that's what I'm wondering. If he's going to turn up more towards the beginning of the film or towards the end. Because we didn't see him in Infinity War, and then we see that Black Widow finds him. Like, is it going to be a situation where it's like, hey, we have a plan now, you've got to come help early in the beginning? Or is it going to be a situation where it's like, hey, you got to come help, and he's like, no, I'm Ronin now. Ronin doesn't help with things. Ronin hurts things. And then, like, later on, he's going to be like, no, I'm Hawkeye again. hi guys, I just realized you need help. And then this is like from a shot from later on when shit has already started to hit the fan. I don't know. All right. I love you though. I love you, Jeremy Renner. Okay, fine. This is cool. Cause look at him. Is that Cap definitely? Cause that's definitely Cap here with his shield. You can tell that you know what I'm gonna say. Enhance! That's definitely him. Here's Black Widow. Look at Rocket's little tail. The hell is that behind? Who is that? Is that? Oh, that's Thor. That's a very Thor-shaped head. Who is this back here? Who? That's a very Tony-shaped head. Isn't that Tony? And then is that War Machine back here? Let's see, that looks like... Is that War Machine? And then somebody just all up in his ass. Who is this? Whoever that is just like right up in him. It's just like right up, like I'm just gonna meh. Why? Is that Bruce? Why is he so close? What is happening there? I don't know. That's but the reason I say that, going back to excuse me, can you enhance less? The reason I say that is because obviously we're meant to believe this is him because he's strapping on his shield. What if that's not Cap? Because I mean, he looks like he's wearing Cap's suit. So obviously, yeah, the first guess is that this is Cap and he's strapping on the shield nervously for the first time since basically he was like, I'm done with this. I am disaffected. You know, I am disillusioned. I'm done. And dropped it with Tony, I think. Yeah, because it was a Civil War where, because I remember Tony was like, my dad made that shield, you bitch. And then like, you know, Steve was like, whatever, and dropped it on the floor. And I guess he hasn't had it since then. Because then he had, in Infinity War, he had the Wakandan, like, little arm gauntlet-y things. So this is either him just trembling under the weight of picking up the Captain America mantle again, and of whatever is going to happen after this point is going to mean. You know, just like in the other trailer, he's like, it has to work or something, because I don't know what we're going to do if it doesn't, when he's talking to Black Widow. So maybe this is an extension of that, of him just, again, like almost buckling under the weight of saying, like, you know what, this is the moment where this plan goes into effect. And I'm fucking terrified for the first time in my life, because this isn't something I can do all day. Because he always like, oh, I could do this all day. And he's getting like slapped around. This isn't something he can do all day. This is something where it's like, this is the end game. Like, this is it. And if this does not work, then everything is finished. Everyone is finished. And he hasn't really had that kind of responsibility on him. So it's very interesting to see him trembling, picking this up. But the reason I said, what if it's not him, is again, because going back to the whole reality thing, other people possibly picking up like after he's gone. And it being something that people kind of speculated earlier on in the MCU that after he's gone, that Bucky would end up taking his place and kind of being a successor. Now, we saw Bucky die, but who knows? Like, if they're going to be playing around with reality and they're going to be playing around with time, maybe this is Bucky. And maybe he's trembling because this is a part where Cap is already gone. Cap did what he could do and he's done. He's dead. And now this is actually Bucky and carrying that legacy on. And he's terrified to be now standing in his place and filling those shoes. And maybe that's why he's trembling. And then it's just them walking out of the Avengers thing. This is also very important. Like, if you think about it, again, just because film is my thing, the way that people tell stories visually, and that's really the only interest for me in kind of looking at something like this and breaking it down. I don't care about Easter eggs. Like, I'm not somebody who likes things spoiled for me. I want to go see the movie and see what happens, but I enjoy the process of thinking about what things could mean, because I like thinking about the story that the filmmakers are trying to tell. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. The light, like, this is a motif I feel that has like been prevalent throughout the MCU, where you have like the sun shining in and like the lens flare, and it's like kind of illuminating and almost washing out like the characters. And I'd have to go back and look at it, like look at where it lands in different shots throughout the MCU to decide what I think it means. I think they even did it in the other trailer with Tony. And then with this, like, does it matter that that's purple? I don't know. But yeah, okay, this trailer is really interesting. And also, yeah, I've made myself sufficiently tired again. So that's the point of these. I'm going to do these sleepy time videos because I'm very tired and need to go to sleep. But I can't, so I do something that's going to make me tired. Actually, this kind of didn't help it. It made me more awake. Yeah, this is very interesting. I really can't wait for Endgame. I loved Infinity War. I thought it was a great film, and I also thought it was a great superhero film, which are two different things. I hold them to two different standards, and I thought it nailed both in a lot of ways. So I'm very much looking forward to Endgame. I'm very much looking forward to all of this coming to a conclusion finally. And the only other thing that I find interesting that I was thinking about was with, again, Doctor Strange and him saying like he only found like one possibility where they get to succeed. And so for me, obviously, like the assumption, and for a lot of people, I guess they made the assumption that from that point, because he saw that, anything he did, like for example, handing over the time stone to Thanos, was because he knows that's a part of what needs to happen to bring this one successful outcome to pass. But the thing that didn't make sense to me, normally when you think about like timelines, right, you would think about there being infinite number of timelines. So it's weird Strange gave a finite number. Like he was like, oh, I looked at this many possibilities. But it's like, what was that number? Like, where did he get that number? If it wasn't infinite, was that just the number of infinite realities in which they've arrived at this exact point in this same exact way? Is that just the number of that he was quoting? I don't remember the number he gave. So let's just pretend that he said 1,000, which he didn't, obviously. But let's just pretend that's what he said. But let's say he said, oh, I looked at 1,000 realities and there's only one in which we win, right? Where did that number 1,000 come from? Like I said, did it come from it just being like he looked at infinite ones, but of all the infinite realities he could have looked at, those 1,000 were the only ones that start from the same point? But that wouldn't make sense. Or were the 1,000 realities that he looked at just the number of realities he got through until, he finally found one that would work? Meaning that that's not the actual complete number of potential realities. He just stopped looking when he finally saw one, and it took going through 1,000 of them to finally get to one where he win. And that doesn't seem like it makes sense because it doesn't jive with his phrasing. Because he didn't say like, hey, I just went through this many possibilities and I finally came across one where we can win. He made it sound more like, no, there is only one where we can win in general, period. Out of all the possible ones there could be out of that 1,000, which makes it sound more like the 1,000 was actually the total number, rather than just the number that he'd gone through up to that point. So then I have to wonder if it's a third possibility. It's 1,000 because that's just the number that he could see where he's alive. Because in Doctor Strange, and again, all this is just going to be spoilers, so if you didn't see Doctor Strange, go watch it, I guess, because whatever. But in that, like, when the Ancient One dies, like, and he's talking to her in the hospital, like, and they're walking or whatever, and she's, like, in her astral form, she makes a very big point and a very big deal to say to him that she can't see past her own death. So it makes me wonder if that's true for everyone, like if that's just a tenet of their magic. Then that would mean that, Doctor Strange, when he's looking through like all these infinite realities, he can't be looking through infinite realities. He can only be looking at the outcomes where he's still alive. And so there might be other realities where they succeed. He just might not be around for it. And so maybe that's just why he had a specific number instead of saying, I just looked through infinite ones. So I don't know. Anyway, very interesting to me. Very interesting. I'm gonna go and eat something, because clearly my body said it's not going to bed right now, and maybe I'll get tired. But if you watch this, what is wrong with you? What are you doing watching this? Huh? Just make better choices in your life. But I appreciate it.